Lily was diagnosed with cancer in July of 2016. We began our treatment. Unfortunately, on day 19, Lily's body went septic. While she was at the hospital, her heart coded, her lungs collapsed, and then her kidneys failed. The kidney failure is the reason that we were brought to Glennon. The other hospital was unable. They do not have kidney dialysis, and so they knew that in order to save Lily's life, we had to be transferred. At the time, I was completely terrified. We were devastated. It was like, Lily's gonna die. How can I do this? I had already had the hardest time finding someone that I trusted with Lily's life, and now they were asking me to go somewhere else. A slew of doctors, came through, and that's how we met Dr. Hugge. After several weeks, and finally Lily was doing better. Please understand, she still was not out of the woods. We had no guarantees, but we started to say, what if this happens again? Like, if I go back to this other hospital where I loved the staff, I loved our doctor, but if her kidneys fail again, what am I gonna do? Or if her heart all these things. And so I remember it was one of the hardest decisions we ever had to make. I was so upset and just like, how can I trust someone to take care of Lily? And every day, Dr. Hugge would come in, and as she started to heal and we started to have hope, I just started to realize he was going to be that doctor who could take the time and would take the time to make sure Lily got everything that she needed. And that meant the world to me, but it was hard because I needed to trust. He also would take the time to sit and talk to me. I don't know if it was intuition on his part. We just clicked. He would come in and he would be the friend that would ask about Lily, and we'd talk about how she was doing, and then he recognized that I needed to talk about something else. And so he allowed himself. He didn't have to, but he would open himself to conversation. I would ask about his kids, and he would tell me. And I'd say, oh, where'd you go last night? And he'd say, oh, we went to this restaurant. And he was willing to come in and be a friend to me during a time when I really needed a friend, and he was the only one who could be that friend. My husband was terrified for Lily, and so our conversations were always full of terror, and Dr. Hugge just was always so calm and optimistic and wonderful. And so for me, I will never forget every visit that he made. And I'm grateful to his wife and kids, because all the times that he took that extra time to visit me before he went home meant that they were at home waiting for him. And they're just an amazing family because they all get it and they are there to support him. His optimism is what gives parents hope. And it's a beautiful thing. And his confidence, this is one of the reasons I trust him. He will never make a promise that he cannot keep. I am a parent that is relentless in wanting an answer, and I always want the truth. So when we first met, I was constantly asking him, do you think Lily's gonna make it? And I can only imagine, he was very professional, but I think it was a hard question because he couldn't guarantee. He would say something like, Lily is really sick, and she's a great reminder to myself and to my fellow doctors and nurses that kids with cancer can get really sick, and it's very serious. Lily had a really bad reaction to her intrathecal methotrexate. She was doing some really weird neurological things. So when I arrived, I said, you know what? I'm done. This is it. I was fearful that, if we did any more, we'd gotten Lily this far, she was gonna have brain damage, or I don't know, maybe she would die. So I just said to Dr. Hugge, I said, you know what, I'm over it. He had given her a full exam neurologically, and he was very calm, etc. And he, we talked for probably a half hour up to that point, and then he says, Ann, I know you very well, and I can't help but think that if you were to skip her last 3 treatments, if Lily were to relapse, I think you would really regret it. And I was like, he got me. So anyway, it was probably 4 days later. Lily and I are at the park. She's doing fabulous, right? No more symptoms. I get a text from him, and he's like, how is she? And I'm like, Lily, what? I go, how's who? He writes back, your pet rock. He's like, what do you mean, who? Lily, how's she doing? It turns out that he had been worrying about her, thinking about her, all these things that I had discussed with him for 4 days. I trusted him so much, I'd already gotten over it. He is constantly thinking about his children at Cardinal Glennon, and he is so passionate about his work. He loves it, He's allowed God to use his life to give glory by trying to treat these children and to become friends with their families. Like, he's just so compassionate. And I just see that he loves what he does, and that makes him an exceptional doctor. Do you have a message for Dr. Hugge? Do you want to say thank you for taking such good care of me? Yeah? Can you say thank you for loving me? Yeah? And can you blow him a kiss and say I love you? Can you say thank you? Look over there and say thank you.
Thank you.
Say I love you. Okay.